AFLW list by the end of this season, then I'm going to go get him, bring him to Sydney, but unfortunately didn't happen that way.
Tremendous here for the Kangas. Makes a pretty much certain goal for Kim Rennie. It's a good point, because I had her when I was coaching Carlton still. She was one of our training players, as one of those Williamstown players, and she was doing a great job. Working her backside off to get better week in, week out, did extras over and above. She's come along beautifully.
Kim Rennie, just the 2 goals in her 65 AFLW game career, none this season. Let's see what she can do from straight in front. Misses to the left.
Too close to the player of the markets twice. Had to sort of reach the end and elevate, lift the leg, which just threw the action totally out of line. Great opportunities going begging for the Kangas so far. The 2 goals, 3 should have just about been 5 straight.
Dogs, they get out the back. Woodley down the line. Ferguson against Farquharson. The bounce in favour of either of them. Birch mops it up for the Roos. To Gatt, to King. They link up through the middle. Riddell now bombs it inside forward 50, and King takes a great contested grab. As players out everywhere, one of them is Eddie. She can mark and have a look at goal.
That's that ball behind centre again. Yep. Get the ball and turn over, find the free player, dash through their overlap run, brilliant from half back and through the middle of the ground. Creates great opportunities for your forwards to just get their defenders on the hop a bit. I mean, you've got a one-on-one with them, a King. An opponent is nowhere near as big as she is. You're in all sorts of bother.
Six goals this year for Bella Eddie. And it's another miss.
The footy gods don't like that, Tess. They come back and bite you in the backside when you have those looks to go and capitalise.
I wonder if the wind's favouring a particular pocket down there.
Normally the right forward pocket. So Izzy Grant, the right forward pocket there. That's sort of where the wind's going.
Gorham to a contest. Drops a bit short and hit me and King, I think, in the head. Not sure where it was coming from. Back to front Falcon. Yes. See that very often. Ferguson on the wing. They've done this part of the game well so far, kick-ins. The Bulldogs are getting the ball up to half forward, but it's just finding a mark. Going inside 50 where they're struggling, and then, as we mentioned a few times, North Melbourne take the ball off the line almost immediately and then put pace back on the game. Crochet to Birch. Into the middle for O'Loughlin, just over her head. Now Kimber can mop it up for the Dogs. Out wide to a contest. Ferris against Smith. Smith will get there first and take on Ferris. Down the line for Bruton. Has some separation on her opponent. Kick on the outside of the boot. It's going to bounce inside 50. Grant is run down by Randall, and she's been rewarded.
That's a shame, because you read the ball really well off the boot and reacted first and got to it first. He just wasn't quite aware of the chase from Randall, which was brilliant.
Randall to a dangerous position at the top of the square. The Dogs have numbers. Smith, Pritchard, happy to see it over. Got back then well, Smith, just to create some coverage at the back of that contest. But we'll look to see what they do again here. Yeah, it's clear the Doggies want to go long to Farquharson from kick-ins. Kick to Edmonds on this occasion. Here we go.
Oh, you got to give that.
Yeah. McKee could complete the mark. Has Farquharson in support. Take on right. Look out, going to get rid of it. She does. Straight to Riddell though. Bangs it forward for North Melbourne. Giorgio Stathis. Ball is tumbling towards the line. Is that almost perceived pressure a little bit there?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, it's probably a combination of things, but you've got to hit those targets when you're playing a quality side like North.
Last 10 minutes, you see the domination inside 50. It was 9-1, I think it was, and 81% time in forward half. They've had the opportunities. The Kangas haven't been able to capitalise, so the Dogs are doing a pretty good job to hold on here.
Grant just pokes it forward.
Just to paint the picture for those at home, if you were a Western Bulldogs back or mid at the moment and you looked up with ball in hand, you would see a wall of North Melbourne defenders ahead of you, with Libby Birch kind of orchestrating things, and that's why it results in players like Emma King taking that mark. They set up so well defensively.
Eddie, straight to Grant, Pritchard,
Gavalis.
So they have to do this. All the numbers behind, so the committed numbers of the contest of doggies and the breeze to save a bit of face.
Fitzgerald
Have to run away.
to a 2-on-1, focus and hands to it, but couldn't bring it down, and Bright mops it up and spears it to Craven. Now she'll see a wall of Western Bulldogs jumpers. So seconds are ticking down. They'll need a mark here, North Melbourne. Craven bombs it long, Randall in front, and she's given away for a kick for a push.
Bit confused, tell you.
Dogs will be happy just to hold things up here and not concede any more scores as we head into quarter time. It's a strong start to the ladder leaders. They lead the Dogs 2-5-17 to 2 behind. The first of what is a Super Saturday of AFLW on Fox Footy coming up next. It is the Richmond Tigers taking on Collingwood. Don't go anywhere. A massive day of footy ahead.
And welcome everybody, game day. Tell you what, North Melbourne looking good in the opening quarter here. It's 2-5-17 leading the Western Bulldogs. 2 behinds, 2 points. And the Kangaroos, one of the top sides in the competition, leading the way, of course. Let's have a little bit of a look at the team, at the player stats. As we can see, Isabel Pritchard there on top there for the doggies with 7 disposals. 1 kick. Loves the handballs with 6. Of course, Libby Birch on top there for the Kangas. There we go. 7 disposals as well. Equal leader on the ground. 4 kicks. 3 handballs. 1 mark. Let's have a little bit of a look down here. I would expect most of the domination from the team stats anyway will come from North Melbourne. As I said, they're a bit of a powerhouse side. I think they're going to be favourites for the flag this year for AFLW. Should be a good season though. Halfway through the season, and teams are starting to find their spot on the ladder. North Melbourne, of course, on top of the AFLW ladder. The Western Bulldogs down near the bottom. The goal scorer for the game, of course, is Nia Martin and Emma King for the Kangaroos. Only 2 goal scorers on the ground at this present time. Let's just have a look at the team disposals. North Melbourne leading the way by 10, just 4 in the kick, 6 in the handballs, inside 50s. Both teams getting opportunity, 11-6, 5 more to the Kangaroos. Doing well though, 7 scoring shots for 11 inside 50s. Bulldogs just the 2 scoring shots for inside 56 times. There we go. Efficiency, both pretty good. Around the ground, 69-62. Inside 50 efficiency. Well, the Kangaroos, not too bad there at 45. Free kicks, all square in the house today, 5 apiece. The stoppages, let's have a look at those. The hit-outs, the Western Bulldogs doing a little bit better as they are in the clearances. And the centre clearances all to the Bulldogs. Midfields there are working their magic very well. Contested possessions, pretty even. Uncontested, yeah, North Melbourne just finding a bit of space, controlling the ball a little bit. 40-39 turnovers. Melbourne bringing the pressure a bit more, 19-13. Dogs turning it over a little bit more. But North Melbourne have got the grip, 20-10 in the marks. Marks inside 50. They're finding their targets, what they're supposed to do. And that's already 4 marks inside 50 in the first quarter. That's good going already. Let's have a look at the tackles now. As I said, North Melbourne bringing a bit of the heat there to the doggies, 13-6. The tackle count, of course, both not too bad in defensive tackles. Tackles inside 53-2. All right, we'll be back in just a moment, folks, for the bounce of the ball for the second quarter.
Welcome back to Arden Street. The undefeated Roos have started brightly against the Western Bulldogs. 2-5-17 plays 2 behinds at quarter time thanks to goals to Neve, Martin and Emma King. The Roos looking to continue their hot form as they return home to Arden Street for the first time since round 2. Just Webster, Daniel Harford and Alicia Eva with you in commentary. But let's check in downstairs. Megan Waters.
Darren, home game, lots of fans around, still unbeaten halfway through the season, some good confidence building. I imagine this must breed some real good energy this kind of start.
Oh, look, yeah, we love playing in front of our fans here at Arden Street. As you can see, it's a really vibrant environment, and it's been a solid start by the girls.
Well, the Dogs are laying some pretty strong pressure in this first term. How did you see that first quarter play out?
Yeah, look, they were really good. We felt like, from our perspective, it was a little bit of ping pong. It was sort of going up and back, too much transition. So we would just want to take control of the game a little bit more.
Thanks, Darren. Good luck for the rest of the game.
Thank you to Megan and Darren downstairs. Didn't like the look of a bit of ping pong, Alicia. What did you make of his comments?
Yeah, I think, the Bulldogs are really matching them at the contest. I think clearance numbers, ground balls, half, you might be able to give me some numbers shortly, but it is a real transition game at the moment. I think Darren Croft might be disappointed with some of the contest KPIs because the Doggies have been able to move the ball forward, but where they're breaking down from a Western Bulldogs perspective is across half forward, and North Melbourne have been really damaging on turnover. Probably disappointed that they haven't kicked more goals. They've certainly had the opportunities, but I think there would have been a strong message around let's start winning the ball in the contest.
So underway now in the second quarter. Chance for Wilcox. Gives it to Fitzgerald, who bangs Western Bulldogs inside forward 50 to McKee, and a one-on-one with Birch. Who won that battle. Sends it to a contest. Players go flying. Craven. Tripodi. To Mia King and Garner. Kicks to space on the wing. Footy to Martin. Kicks the opening goal of the game. Sells a bit of candy, then sends it in the Randall direction. Dropped up by Grant. Get a fist in there. Tries to take on Randall. Umpire says, toss it back in.
Good job, Missy Grant, there to get that position. Randall had a chance, I reckon, Alicia, to really body up and just protect that drop zone, mark that footy for the Kangas, but Missy Grant made sure she wasn't able to do that. Well done.
Great crowd building here at Arden Street. Not sure what kind of weather we're going to get today. We've had sunshine, wind, a bit of rain. We don't know what's coming. Whitnett to Wilcox. Hacks it forward. Birch and Pett in best position and takes the mark.
So the Dogs still keen to roll a half forward up to the contest, which the Kangas are very happy with that. They'll just say, have a great time up there, we'll put enough pressure on you, and have a spare, like we have here, to mark the kicks that come out of those contests.
And hopes it forward looking for Rennie. Well done, Edmonds. She was stripped of her footy and holding the ball.
It's just like she changed her mind just as she kicked that Mia King. Come off the boot. Super flash, but it's worked out in the end here.
Rennie off to Shannon. Back into the lineup today. To Randall at full forward again. Grant in front position. Down to Smith. For Goodnet. Ball goes to ground. Woodley crashes into King. Ball spills loose. Tripodi. Great smother off the boot from Woodley. Steals to Garner, who feeds it to King. Trying to get around Gorham and can't. Great tackle.
Good pressure. Some of those numbers Alicia was talking about the first quarter. Clearance +3 to the Dogs, 5-2. It's a big stat. Ground ball gets our +2 as well. Contested possession North by +2, which is good by the Dogs to keep it to that. The problem was intercept marks was 6-0 for the Kangas. They just couldn't find any penetration forward the ball.
O'Shea. Hardwick. Plenty of numbers around the footy. Another stoppage on the wing.
These stoppages on the wing are going to be really important for the Bulldogs today. It just means they can set the ground up again. And half you just touched on the contest numbers and the clearance numbers. It's actually an area of the game they're in the green. So another clearance here for Deanna Berry.
Lovely palm down from Edmonds too. A kick to half forward. Roos have the numbers. Ferguson will be happy to see this over.
So that's a great result because the spare was there. Birch was sitting in a really good spot. Carried her just a breeze, carried her a little bit. So we're set up for a 450 stoppage here. So this is the chance for the Dogs. Now they can have some numbers behind the ball because the Kangaroos are committing numbers into this.
McKee against Rennie. Rennie palms it down. Garner. Toe pokes it forward. Wilcox. Brought to ground.
Edmonds comes back in to even up the numbers.
Craven. Tackled by Greg. Loves the tough stuff, does Elaine Greg.
Just brings great energy. Just watch her at this stop. It's just on the move, bouncing off bodies.
Garner close to the line. Back to Craven. Hurry kick around the corner. Wilcox got a hand to it. Group ensures this is going nowhere.
These
what
moments
they
are
do.
wins.
Yes.
These are wins for the Dogs. Keeping the ball in contest a bit. They're having success at that at the moment, as Lucia was talking about before. It's an open play where they seem to be getting cut up a little bit.
They're trying to burst her way through. Giorgio Stathis hacks the kick. Inside forward 50 Greg.
Just really nice composure then by Dee Berry, not to just blaze away immediately, to just draw the defender and give off the handle. But she's coming off the ground. She doesn't look totally comfortable today.
It's her third rotation for the game so far. Spending a bit of time on Ash Riddell, looks like, through the middle of the ground, so maybe she just cooked.
Just blowing.
Fitzgerald to Goodnet. Can they get a kick away? To a dangerous position again. Birch in a good position. Couldn't complete the mark, and it goes over the line for the first score of the second term. More dangerous kick in. Birch. They're under pressure a bit, the Dogs' defence, and that blind kick from Hartwig is missing again. So a couple of behinds to start the second term for the Western Bulldogs. Just as they did the first, had a couple of hooks early.
That would have been a nice one, a nice goal.
This time a longer kick out. Eddie, looping handball. Kimber got a hand in there and broke it up. To Gorham, Carruthers, Edmonds, back to Gorham. And they turned it over.
They actually look really great when they were using the chain of handballs and the doggies. If they kick too soon, they're just going to be kicking to North Melbourne spare line to goal. So I actually don't mind them putting some energy, speed on the ball and using that handball receipt. And if they do need to surge it, get it wide.
Ready called to play onto a contest on the wing. Gorham stands around. Play on's a call. Woodley couldn't complete the grab, has time. Find a boot, a long ball inside 50. Shannon against Hartwig. Shannon in front position. In comes Grigg. Goes to ground. Keeps it alive. Ferguson ripped off it. And that's a free kick.
6-1 inside 50s this quarter for the Doggies. It's a territory domination at the moment. If they get a way to maximise and hit the scoreboard, put the pressure on the Kangas, who knows what happens here.
Now things are open up for the Roos. O'Shea to Eddie. Craven is breaking on the wing. She goes inboard to Riddell. Now she goes to Craven. The kick though just had a little bit too much on it. Craven makes a contest against Kimber. Now the support arrives for the Roos. And almost having a good look at this, and holding the ball is going to be the decision.
So if you're Darren Crocker, Alicia, you want this game in flow, don't you? You want this game in space and flow. That's where they really have the foot on the throats of the Doggies. In contest, Dogs are working really hard, making it a real battle. But in flow, it is all Kangaroos at the moment.
No one stands the mark. Martin to full forward. Hands to it, no mark. Out the back. O'Loughlin. Brought to ground. Chance for Bruton. Looking for Craven. Riddell. Links up with Mia King. Pokes it to the corridor. Garner almost completes the mark. Wall swoops on it. Sends a flying shot towards goal and it's missing.
Yeah, the Bulldogs are doing a great job in keeping this game live at the moment because it's enabling them to play that high-pressure game. And that's why those turnovers across half-back were so important for North Melbourne in that first quarter because they were able to control the ball and put the ball out into space and kick to the advantage. They haven't been able to do that so far this quarter.
Let's check in downstairs with Megan Waters, who's keeping the weather app handy. Meg, so what's it looking like down there?
I can't figure it out at the moment. It's a little overcast now. In fact, the breeze has just slowed down, but when it picks up, it's a little swirly. You can't kind of tell which end it's sort of favouring. But for now, it's actually slowed right down, even looking out at the trees. Yeah, that breeze is okay for the minute, but things are changing rapidly. So I'll update you again shortly. Hopefully it stays like this, though.
Keep an eye on Dee Berry down there too. Is he on the Doggies bench?
O'Loughlin has the footy out wide. Gives it off to Gat. A long kick inside 50. Randall on the end of it. Just read it best off the boot.
And Gat was able to use the ball in time and space then. So then she's got time to assess her options ahead of the footy and put that ball to advantage of Randall.
Talia Randall, no real angle to speak of. It's a wobbly kick off the boot, but the result is what you want.
Real helicopter action off the boot. Didn't want to try and mark too many of those. Break your fingers, that would, but it doesn't matter because it goes straight through the middle for the Kangas. They get the first and the second term. And it's that ball movement again. So that handball chain, that handball to release run is really impressive for the Kangas today. And as you said, then you get a territory advantage. You're able to carry the ball forward, get it deep, catch defenders in bad positions or just called out one-on-one. Talia read that beautifully and went back and somehow slotted it through.
I'd love to know what she said to herself then. What was that? Doesn't matter, it was worth 6 points to her.
That's it. Doesn't matter how you kick it. So first goal of the afternoon to Talia Randall. 3 to the Roos, all single goal kickers. Nick Munn and Emma King kicking the first goals of the game. So for all the good work that the Dogs have done around the contest, it's the Roos who are making the impact on the scoreboard. Mia King runs straight into good net. And unfortunately just a little bit high.
A knee to the back of the head then.
It's never nice.
She's a tough cookie though, Mia King.
Out to right. Directs the kick to half forward. Lovely mark back with the flight. To Izzy Grant. Sends it to a contest on the wing. Berry used the body illegally.
The Dogs do a good job of shutting down the straight kick here. So they want to force it and try something. They might need to go outside the line of ball to goal here, but just go straight forward, keep it simple.
Right to a contest out the back. Arden's. Gorham as the rain starts to tumble here at Arden Street. Giorgio Stathis, game 50 today. Grant had a fresh area, goes in again. Gat trying to find a teammate. King dispossessed, goes in again to Eddie. Carruthers with the tackle. Mia King. It's a hot footy to be won here. Grigg applying the pressure. Gavalis has turned it over to Bresnahan and they can reset it half forward.
And that was that kick I'm talking about. When it's a hot footy, you're going to anticipate that the ball is going to be surged at some point, but sometimes it's got to go wide and not up the guts where your opposition has set up their spare.
Rennell again, just read it best. She can line up for 2 and a couple of minutes.
She's the one you focused on pre-game. Alicia is one of the game breakers. She's having an impact here at the moment. In one-on-one contest, she's just too big. She gets some isolation with her opponent.
What do you call this one, Jess?
Oh, Talia. I mean, the first kick looks like that, but it went through. And then this one, just...
I've done something similar this season, so I won't talk too much about that one. But it's interesting, half what you were saying. I think Randall in the first quarter, Izzy Grant was playing it really well and was actually reacting to the ball, not so much to Randall, and was actually winning the ball. And then what was impressive is that Randall was tackling, applying chase pressure. But this quarter just looked like she's able to run and jump at the footy, and with some good delivery, no wonder she's taken 2 marks inside 50 as well.
Gavalis with some space on the wing. Link up by hand, good net to Smith. Trying to get around Gat. Kicks in board. Nice gather by Carruthers. A long kick inside forward 50. O'Shea, that's straight to the line. Interesting call, and it's...
Not sure there's a lot of intent to keep that ball in.
I would have been asking the question, that's for sure.
Let's take another look. What do we think?
Zero intent to keep that in. That's a free kick.
So a chance in attack for the Dogs. Off the tap, Riddell hacks it out of the danger zone. It's going to come back. Smith.
Big numbers inside 50 here.
It's called a play on. Has to kick it to the pocket. And Bresnahan knocks it over.
Dee Berry having a roll on Riddell here. That last stoppage, Riddell was just sitting in the back by herself, so Berry's just going to pay some attention here, and she might actually find herself with ball in hand on this occasion.
Garner. Long in the Randall direction. There's McKee for company. Butterford. Ball was held to her. So much experience in this Roos lineup today. They have over 1,000 AFLW games experience compared to 600 for the Dogs.
It's a niche stat, 1,000.
I got the calculator out.
Good work from Kim Rennie. Didn't make 2 mistakes in a row. Coughed up the ball and handball and then chased to get it back. Good signs.
Ferris tries to knock it forward. And as far as Bresnahan, great smother by Grant, who can gather and take off. Has a couple of options outside forward, up forward. Cavala's in front position, trying to bounce off a couple of her former teammates. And we've got a ball up.
It's really well done by Izzy Grant, and just read that really well. And I mentioned it earlier in the first quarter. She's playing quite assertively, not afraid to come off, and in that occasion worked out well.
Chodro Stathis sends it back up forward, off hands. Gavalis, O'Shea laying the tackle against Woodley. Would love a goal here, the Western Bulldogs. They've had their opportunities up forward, had some time in their forward half, just haven't been able to get that breakthrough goal on the scoreboard. Tumbling kick outside defensive 50. Butterfin sends the Dogs back into attack. Better chance to it, could have come down with a mark. Gavalis tapped it over.
So 11-5 inside 50s this quarter for the Dogs. Clearances are 7-6 in favour of the Kangas, so again they're matching it with the Kangas in that category of the ground, which is a huge performance, I reckon.
So if you coach tomorrow, are you happy with how they're going, despite being 20 points down on the scoreboard?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would be. I think that, I mean, we talk about North Melbourne and how strong they are in that midfield group, and I think the Doggies are certainly matching them there at the moment. It's not like they haven't had their opportunities. The ball's lived inside their forward 50, and I wouldn't say that's necessarily condition dependent. Just got to find someone forward of the ball to find some space.
Riddell under pressure with the kick whistle on play. Free kick to the Dogs.
Both teams have had 2 shots at goal this quarter. They're dominating territory. They're evening up with clearance. The contested possession numbers are good. Ground ball numbers are good. So there's a lot to like about the way the Dogs are doing it. They don't have the class of the Kangas. I think that's clear. And that's probably the difference at the moment.
Wilcox, you see the wind just carry that over the line.
Maybe the wind is playing a little bit more of a role than what I thought. But I think that the Doggies at the contest have stood up really well. Particularly, you mentioned 1,000 games of experience compared to 600. A lot of those games of experience would be in that North Melbourne midfield. So the young Bulldogs need to do a good job in that.
The Dogs trying to lock it in. Forward half ball brought to ground, and he's caught holding the ball.
Positive information from the crowd.
50, just party 4 into 4.
Bruce Faithful packed in here at Arden Street this afternoon. Wall to a contest on the wing. Riddell is caught. Craven. Great pressure applied by Carruthers. Final minute of the opening half here at Arden Street. Dogs, Roos rather, by 15 at quarter time. And they lead by 20. Have kicked the only goal of the second quarter. Tumbling kick to half forward with Liam Bresnahan tangle, and it's going to be a lasso free kick.
I mean, it's unfortunate for that lasso rule in that instance, because it's not necessarily a bad clearance, that kick along the ground, because you're not kicking it straight back to North Melbourne's +1. Just needed to get a touch before it got over the line.
So time for a goal either way here. If they can get a fast break. Randall's handball to space. Oh, massive tackle on Carruthers. That's got to hurt.
It's been the rugby sevens element to her AFL footy at the moment.
That was massive.
Oh, hit.
Can I say she ran into a brick wall?
Ah, yes. That's real dad gag areas. Well done. Welcome.
O'Shea, tackled by Farquharson. And a free kick to the Roos on the stroke of half-time here. North Melbourne Kick 3 goals, 6-24. They lead the Western Bulldogs 4 behinds to half-time. The Roos hoping to remain undefeated in season 2024. They have 5 wins and a draw to their name. The Western Bulldogs have won their last 2, and they've had some territory in this first half, just haven't been able to get reward on the scoreboard. And the margin is 20 points at half-time. Let's get downstairs to Megan Waters.
Well, Amy, you've got yourselves off to a really good start today. A nice, healthy lead. What do you credit that to?
Yeah, I think first of all the weather's nice to start. A little bit drier than we've had in the past few weeks, but I think we're able to get the ball, the game on our terms and moving the ball how we want to. So a little bit of hit mark, but also using what the oppo give us.
We're heading down to the rooms now. What are your words of wisdom to your group, to the girls, to ensure this hot run continues?
Yeah, just have a bit more composure with the ball. Sometimes we're rushing when we could probably just hold on to it a bit more and take a better option. So yeah, a bit of composure and make sure that we stay on our terms. Yeah.
Well, let's see you kicking some more goals in this second half.
Thanks to Megan and Emma downstairs. The Dogs are putting up a fight against the competition leaders, but they see themselves trailing by 20 points at half-time. It's North Melbourne 3-6, 24 to the Western Bulldogs, 4 behind. We'll be back after the break with all the half-time analysis.
All right, so North Melbourne, they put on 1-1 in that quarter. 2 behinds to the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs steadied the ship a little bit in that quarter. And North Melbourne couldn't quite extend the margin too much there. Although they did extend it by 5 points. There we go. It's a little bit breezy out there, playing tricks on the girls out there, the wind, when they're kicking the ball. As we saw with one of the kicks late in that quarter. But North Melbourne still, they do look a little bit too classy in this game this afternoon. We'll see. As we can see, 9 scoring shots to just 4 for the Dogs. Welcome in to Annie, of course, and Ryan. Hey, what's going on in the live chat there? Thanks for popping in. Let's have a little bit of a look now at the disposals, team disposals, and we'll see how they're going. Libby Birch leading away with 12 for the Kangas, and of course, Ash Riddell with 10 and Kim Rennie with 9. Isabel Pritchard and Elizabeth Georgiadis, their best for the Doggies with 9 apiece. Let's keep going down. A few of the girls there getting some reasonable stats there in this opening half, but I'm liking this game today. Good bit of pressure. Dogs not going too bad, as I said. They're one of the lower ranked teams in the competition, playing against the flag favourites and the top of the leader ladders, North Melbourne. Pretty nice day. So if you're in the area, somewhere around there, they are. This is being played at Arden Street down there in Melbourne. Arden Street Oval. There we go, folks. If anyone is a North Melbourne fan, they'll certainly know that. The goal kickers, Talia Randall, Nima Martin and Emma King, they're the only 3 single goal scorers for the game so far. We expect a little bit more on the goal front coming up after half time. Let's have a look at the disposal count. North Melbourne getting away a little bit, 137, 110, 27 in front, 16 kicks, 11 handballs, inside 50s. Have a look at that. The Bulldogs, it was down there and that quarter. They've had 1 more inside 50 at the moment. So they're getting plenty of opportunities, 7 inside 50s, but they've only managed 4 behinds. Not good enough from the Doggies. They need to put on a couple of majors, having that much chance going inside 50. As you can see, for the North Melbourne Kangaroos, though, 16 inside 50s for 9 scoring shots. That is fantastic. The disposal efficiency still reasonably okay there, 65 and 60. The free kick count, though, going North Melbourne's way, 14-8 up until half-time. Hit-outs, clearances, all pretty even. Stevens there. Centre clearances, though, the Dogs, a couple there over the Kangas. Stoppage clearances, pretty even. Contested possession, both teams contesting well out there. Uncontested, pretty even in that second term there. Still, it's the Kangaroos by 17. Turnovers, reasonably high turnover, but the marking, the North Melbourne just finding a little bit more space, finding their targets a lot better there. And as you can see, up by 20 at half time, 33 13. The mark's inside 50, though. That's where North Melbourne are doing their thing. 6-zip. Doggies, they need to lower their eyes. They need to hit up some lead targets there and give themselves that better opportunity. As I said, when they're going inside 50, they've had plenty of opportunity. Let's have a look at the tackles now until half time. Both teams tackling pretty well. The Doggies inside 50 tackle, and they're bringing the pressure there. Well, both teams bringing the pressure, bringing the tackles. Defensive styles going well for both teams. Just a quick look at the lineups because we didn't get there at the beginning. And for the Kangaroos, Shannon and Gatt was coming in, and Kearney and Sherlaw were going out. They are the ins and outs for North Melbourne. For the Bulldogs, the ins were McKee, Ferrers, and Farquharson, and going out were Bennett, Borg, and Weston Turner. They are your ins and outs for both teams, and of course your lineups are there. All right, we're not going to be too far away, folks, before we are back. And we will have the bounce of the ball for the second half. But before that, we'll go down to the ground and get a little bit of their analysis from the commentators.
Glimpses of the Roos at their best as we take a look at the Chemist Warehouse halftime highlights.
Yeah, I think the Bulldogs should take a lot out of that second quarter in particular. I think North Melbourne was certainly on top in the first quarter. They were able to get their game going. We look at this, they were finding uncontested marks. They were able to put speed on the ball and kick the ball inside 50 into really dangerous spots. They weren't able to do that in the second quarter, and that was because the Bulldogs upped their pressure and upped their work at the contest. And I'll just read out some numbers. The Bulldogs actually +1 in ground balls, they're +3 in clearance, and they're +2 for inside 50s for this game. And that really all came about in that second quarter. So if I was Tamara Hyatt, I'd be really, really pleased with the work that my young midfield in particular has been doing, nullifying some of those names like Adele, Garner, as we spoke earlier. But I've been really, really impressed with their work rate across the ground, and North Melbourne would be looking to control the ball a little bit more in the second half, so they can find some more targets inside.
And is this the change you've seen in the Dogs in recent weeks? They've won their last 2 games in a row. Is it just that lift around the contest that you've noticed the most?
Yeah, I mean, pressure's such a buzzword in our game, but it really does matter, particularly when you're playing a young side against a really skillful, experienced side. The way in which you can take away the quality of skill is by putting pressure on the disposals. So that'd be a big message being spoken about at halftime in the Bulldogs room. We've just got to maintain the rage, so to speak. And look, they had plenty of opportunities with the ball going inside 50 that quarter. They've probably just got to get a little bit more out of the stoppages and see if they can get someone on the fly hitting the scoreboard.
So, Kate Sheila on screen there. One of the outs for the Dogs today, for the North Melbourne rather, who lead by 20 points at halftime. Coming out later tonight, it is Carlton taking on the Brisbane Lions under lights at Icon Park. Carlton looking to snap a 3-game losing streak, and the Red Hot Lions want to continue their form.
footy here at Arden Street, where North Melbourne lead the Western Bulldogs 24-4. I am wanting to let you know about Mia King because we saw a little earlier she copped a pretty nasty knee to the back of the head, but we've heard back from the club and she is all set to go for this second term, which is great. It looks as though we are setting in for some real wet weather conditions for the remainder of this game, so I'm going to get myself comfortable under this brolly for the next quarter.
Thoughts and prayers with you downstairs, Megan Waters, as the heavens have opened up here at Arden Street. And hopefully this rain goes away soon. But it is tumbling down. I don't know what it is about North Melbourne and wild weather in season 2024, but it is following them wherever they go.
This will be 5 weeks in a row. Some heavy rain as part of their games. At least they know how to play in it. You'd think, poor old Megsy, surrounded by waters down there.
I thought there was something wrong with the effects mark. I thought, where's it good? But no, it's just the rain on the umbrella.
So it is bucketing down here at Arden Street to start this second half. North Melbourne lead by 20 points, and it's been a bit of a highly contested, scrappy kind of game so far. North Melbourne making the most of their opportunities in attack. But the Western Bulldogs seem up for the fight so far.
Wondering if the lights need to go on here. It's pretty dark out there.
I reckon you're right. I reckon you're right. Worthwhile turning those on.
Not sure it'll make much of a difference.
Just
There we go. Don't help me.
So here we go, underway in the second half. North Melbourne by 20 points. The rain is absolutely bucketing down.
It is.
It is hard to see anything out there at the moment. There's a free kick out of the middle going the way of Mia King.
Is this the worst that they've played in?
A couple of weeks ago I called them at Whitten Oval against Port Adelaide, and that was pretty wild.
Monsoon stuff.
As Gat sends them to full forward. Randall's changed into the long sleeves, I think, for the second half. It just bumps Giorgio Stathis out of the way. That was a crunching bump. Riddell trying to muscle her way through. Bresnahan laying a tackle on Grant.
They're listening to Alicia Ebo. They know the impact she has in this competition. If she wants something, it gets done. Lights are on.
Bruton. For Riddell. Gorham dispossessed. Edmonds. Pritchard had a fumble. Garner couldn't take it with her. Pritchard goes again straight to Bruton. Sends it to full forward. Randall. Follows up at ground level, off to Garner. The shot on goal is straight through the middle. Perfect start to the second half for the Roos.
Really nice goal there by Jazz Garner. And you could just tell to start this third quarter that just the energy has gone up with Riddell, with Garner. They're just looking a little bit more lively at the contest, but Talia Randall does really well to bring that ball to front there. And usually it's for the crummers that get there, but she did the crumming job herself then, and then Jazz Garner work right forward to get past for that handball receive. Nice finish.
Yeah, that was the key, wasn't it? Keep it in front, and you're allowing your players who are forward of the ball, as Jazzy Garner was on that occasion, to get there and help and support you, rather than having to get to the back of that contest and obviously more often not rush that ball through from the opposition. Critical play. Don't get a stat for that from Talia Randall outside the handball, but bringing it to ground was the key.
Back in the middle we go. 26 points now the difference, the way of North Melbourne. Mia King swung as she kicked it. Garner comes flying through. Pokes it forward. They've locked it up here.
It's going to be interesting to see how North Melbourne adjusts to their high handball game from stoppage here. They like to handball back to almost that quarterback receiver, but in these conditions, territory is going to be everything.
Wilcox just hacks it off the turf. Ferguson first to meet it. Hartwig applying the pressure. Shannon, Grigg, also involved. McKee kicks it into space. Melbourne are well set. Gat. Wall ricochets off her leg, goes out of play.
Should be a lasso.
It is a lasso.
I know coaches like to say, we don't want to change the game plan too much due to the conditions, but this is very, very heavy. This is a downpour, so territory's going to be really important.
Coach Gump would call this big old fat rain.
Had a classic 4 seasons in one day. in the first half. Sunshine, wind, rain, we need now it's a bit hail.
No, we don't need that, Jess. You'd be asking for those sort of things. Come on, Megsy. I'm just not Megsy watch.
A couple of umbrellas down there, I think, Megsy. Shield her from the elements.
I think there's some serious elements. My God.
Pritchard. Walked around by Tripodi.
This is the thing the Bulldogs can do through this term with conditions like this. If you can just keep the ball in the scrimmage and take away the opportunities for North Melbourne to expand the game, come to the three-quarter time, a couple of goals down, you're still in this game.
Down the line, off-hand scorer. Wobbles it into the middle of Arden Street. Yeah, which will help.
Just thinking more watch. I'm not sure if he's on the ground at the moment, but these conditions would suit her as a forward if they could get the ball out the back into some space.
Reading the Garner, dispossessed by Woodley. Ball spills free. Butterford, kick going nowhere. Craven. Down the line through the hands of Giorgio Stathis. Root. To King. In the Randall direction. Through her fingertips. Running onto it will be Jazzy Smith for the Dogs. She's tackled immediately. Got a stoppage 30 metres out from the Bruce goal.
The important getting back Jazzy Smith is that offside winger today.
King chases after it. Wrapped up by Butterford.
Just thinking ahead, Alicia, it's a long walk to my car. I'm going to get very wet.
I'm getting an Uber to the airport, so you can drop you in your car.
Craven towards full forward. And over for a rushed behind. Let's do a welfare check. Megan Waters, how you going down there?
Yep, she's still wet down here, guys. It's absolutely bucketing down on us, but we're just embracing the elements. For now, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. I've just heard that Deanna Berry is going to be out for the rest of the game with illness, actually. So, yeah, just wanted to keep you informed on that one.
Thank you, Megan. Not good news at all for Dee Berry, who was looking a little worse for wear in the first half. It's battling away, but that's not good news for the Dogs. Will be one on the wing here, ready to go in the ship.
Just lost temporary signal there, folks, due to the weather. We'll keep...
High bounce here, Jazzy Garner can do just about anything.
She breaks games open, Jazz Garner. She doesn't need a heap of opportunities to do so, even though we know she accumulates. But that's 2 goals already this quarter, and she was just clean.
That's the difference, isn't it? We talked about that as a kangaroo trait in the game. To see one of the stars step up in these horrible conditions to be playing. In fact, from what level of footy, this is just horrible to be playing and get it. But I like this from Randall, just tap the ball forward, keep it in motion.
Oh, that's going to be out of bounds on the field. So an opportunity here for the Western Bulldogs. Ellie Gavalis hugged up against the boundary line. Off ever so slightly here. Runs on the angle, sends it towards goal. Doesn't quite have the journey off hands, Tripodi. O'Shea, Garner, clean to Riddell. Kicks for territory on the outer wing. And the Dogs have done well through Butterfin to lock things up. Let's get downstairs to Megan Waters.
Hey guys, just wanted to let you know as well that Lauren Aarons is going to be out for the remainder of the game as well. She has sustained a foot injury, so just keeping you looped in on that one.
Thank you, Megan. So that's two big losses to the Dogs in the second half. Dee Berry and Lauren Aarons, two of the most experienced players, out for the rest of the game.
And it is significant too when you are playing a high pressure game. It requires a lot of energy, so to be 2 rotations down on the bench, that will be felt across the field.
Free kick on the outer side to Smith. Up to Edmonds at half forward.
They need to move the ball quickly here, just not allow North Melbourne to get such big numbers back.
Edmonds into the pocket to a contest. Fitzgerald had to play at it. Farquharson chasing after it. Socket forward. Grant gets Randall, who just bumps her off the footy. Good tack in the contest by Talia Randall.
A really good contest between Randall and Grant today.
Garner. It's on the right down the line. Ferris. Out to meet it by Lachlan. Can find the teammate by hand. Picked up by Pritchard, who's turned it over to Garner, who couldn't take it with her.
Every time you say Ferris, I just want to say Bueller. I have to stop myself from doing it.
Bruton. Oh, Georgia Stacker's got a knee in the back. Should get a free kick. Playing game number 50 today, Giorgio Staffis. Runner-up best and fairest last year after her move to defence. Hit number 9 back in 2019. Bruton wobbles a kick forward. Ferris standing her ground. North Melbourne by 15 at quarter time, by 20 at half time. They kick the only 2 goals of this third quarter, and teaming rain broke to Jazzy Garner. Look to move it forward once more here. Riddell tumbles a kick inside forward 50 through the hands of Kimber, opens the door for O'Loughlin, but the kick is bouncing towards the line. I'll get a forward 50 stoppage.
Vicky Wall not overly wrapped about that from Alice. So she was running towards goal. Good goal side of her opponent. Just a ball over the top there would have been an easy walk-in for the Kangas.
So rain starting to ease off here. We hope it's the last of it for the rest of the afternoon. A huge downpour at half time.
Well, we spoke about what North Melbourne's messaging might be at half time. We spoke about the contested clearance work and how that was quite evenly contested in that first half. But this third quarter, North Melbourne have just broken it open. And Jazz Garner is getting really busy. She's already had the 3 clearances this quarter, Jenna Bruton the 2. And they're winning that battle 8-3 in total. So that's why the ball's living in North Melbourne's 450.
And at half time, it was the Belgians +3 in that category across the ground. So the experienced campaigners might have been asked a question by the coach. How about we get busy in the middle of the ground around the contest? And they've responded accordingly.
Riddell sets it up to the top of the square. Edmonds wrapped up by King. King palms it down. Whistle on play. Free kick for high contact. It'll be Emma King to shoot for her second goal.
Look to own the fall of the ball there. Emma King and Edmonds, I think, it's just wrapped an arm. All right, there we go.
Emma King kicked a goal in the first quarter. This to push the margin to nearly 40 points. And the Roos are starting to flex their muscles here in the third.
It'll be interesting to see who stands up here from a Bulldogs perspective in terms of just leadership around the ground. We, of course, know Ellie Blackburn is not playing for the remainder of this season. Deanna Berry, the captain, has gone off with illness. this game. El Bennett's another senior player in their list, not playing today. We know it's a really young list, so it's going to be really important that the likes of Alice Edmonds really stands up. Jess Fitzgerald, another really important player for them, just to settle this and just, I guess, slow down the run that North Melbourne have got going at the moment.
Lizzie Pritchard's another one you need to see more leadership from in these matters too. She's the leader of the next generation, really, for this Bulldogs outfit. And Don Carruthers has been playing a lot of footy. She knows how to manage these situations, or should. She's got to lead by example here as well for the Dogs.
She's got the role on Garner at the moment at this stoppage, and she brings a lot of energy and high pressure, Don Carruthers, so she'll be wearing Garner closely. Smith rubbed up.
So it's been a big step up by the Kangas this quarter. All the numbers: 15 to 6 handballs, 21 to 11 contested possession, 17-5 uncontested, 17-8 ground balls, 11 to 2 handball receives, 5 to 2 inside 50s, 3 goals to nil.
Free kick to Rennie in the middle, sends it to half forward. A big pack around this footy. Bruton squeezes the kick forward. Smith looking for Garner. Lays a tackle. Young Jazzy Smith. 3 unanswered goals to North Melbourne in this third quarter. Starting to dominate now. Good necked. Fitzgerald pushes King out of the way. It's going nowhere.
Great bodywork there by Fitzgerald, just to... Alan O'Connell used to say, don't play athletics, play football, use your body.
I like that. Median is Gavalis. Found some room. Kick ill-directed. And Wright takes the intercept grab for North Melbourne. 6-7-43, leading the Western Bulldogs 4 behinds. They kicked 2 behinds in the first quarter. The Dogs 2 behinds in the second quarter. Haven't scored. It's about the 6-minute mark of the second quarter as the heavens opened up at halftime. Made this a scrap in this third quarter, but North Melbourne really standing up. Wall can't keep it alive.
So that's a learning for the Dogs. Just watching that last passage of play, Alicia. Again, it's that defensive mid-area of the ground. It's that quick hack kick forward to the numbers that have been set up by the Kangaroos and their defensive formation strategy. I mean, it's terrific football, great coaching and great structure for the Kangaroos. But that's the learning, I reckon, to find a way around that. Next time out, find a way around that. Let's advance the game, not straight lines. Let's get a little bit offline. Handball and running carry if we need to. Obviously, difficult conditions here today, but cannot keep banging it towards opposition numbers. It just does not work.
And the best in the comp, North Melbourne, for scores against. It's really hard to score against because they set up so well defensively. So all teams have got to do their homework, but it's got to start with putting some handball chains together and taking the ball off the line.
They average the least points against in the competition. North Melbourne just 20 per game. The opposition have scored on average in season 20 and 24.
They played some good teams too.
Good next sends the kick out wide. O'Shea underneath it to Ferguson. Carruthers break it up a little bit. McKee had a play at it. Gavalis goes in hard and everyone jumps on top of the footy. The umpire will come in and sort it all out.
There are some opportunities against the Kangas. I'm just watching them live. If you can win the contest and just clear that next phase, that secondary bubble area, because they drop their initial reaction to drop back and defend. If you can come through the front, you draw the defenders out.
Randall through her hands, a chance for Wall out the back. She'll take him on, she'll handball inboard to Randall. Just couldn't quite take it cleanly, but a couple of Dogs go to ground. Randall swoops, sends it towards goal. It didn't get the bounce, so Lachlan sees it through for a minor score. Did not look. Bad effort off the boot, just didn't quite get the bounce she would have liked.
She was trying for the pass. It was a neat kick, it was a net kick suggesting a pass which just missed on target.
Skidded on.
40 points the margin now the way in North Melbourne. Rain just hanging around a bit here in this third quarter. Edmonds can't find a way through and is going to be penalised. Tess Craven, the young guns in this Roos outfit, sends it back inside forward 50 through the hands of Wall, out the back Randall, it's caught. Georgia Stathis had a fumble, soccers it off the turf. O'Shea against Gavalis. Gavalis tug at the jumper.
So for the Kangaroos, you'd reckon you'd be starting to think you exploit the physical condition of this Bulldogs outfit. Talked before about the number of games that they've played versus the Doggies, 1,000 to 600 or so. So they've got the physical maturity to power through this scenario all the way for the 4 quarters. You'd think the Doggies might run out a bit of gas in these conditions.
Great smother from Craven. And they'll get a ball in.
Especially when they're 2 players down.
If you just joined us, Dee Berry is out for the remainder of the game with illness. Lauren Arden's also out for the rest of the game. So a couple of experienced heads for the Western Bulldogs missing in this second half. So look to try and exit defence. Shannon gets through a couple. Wilcox is heard as Shannon sends this to the top of the square. It's over the head of the pack and out of play.
It's a shoulder for Wilcox again. Heavily strapped right shoulder. She's coming off.
She was in a bit of trouble there. First game back for Eliza Shannon. Coming to the side, of course, M. Carney out, so Shannon just steps into that roll across halfback.
Had a delayed start to the year with an ankle injury. It's her first game, season 2024, Eliza Shannon.
Another big hit there. There'll be a few sore bodies after a game like this.
Georgia Stathis out wide to Maggie Gorham. Continue along the outer side. Shea breaks it up and goes out of play. Final few seconds here of this third quarter, which has been owned by North Melbourne. They kick the only 3 goals of the quarter, 2 to Jazzy Garner in wet conditions, 1 to Emma King, who now has 2 for the match alongside Garner. Pritchard going nowhere.
Both sides just happy to see this quarter out at the moment.
And there is the siren to 3-quarter time. North Melbourne in full control at Arden Street. They lead the Western Bulldogs 6-8, 44 to Western Bulldogs 4 behinds. 40 points of difference as we turn for home. Coming up tonight, later today, it is a fantastic battle ahead of us. Port Adelaide taking on the Daisy Pearce-led West Coast Eagles, which continues a Super Saturday of NAB AFLW action right here on Fox Footy.
And they're in group too, so he's well up to
All right. There we go, folks. 3-quarter time. North Melbourne showing their class. They're pulling away in this match today. Welcome in, Tina and Bem, the super manager. Make love, shout out day. Thanks for coming in. Eddie G. How you going, Squire? Welcome into the live. Where you been? Annie's been here looking for you. You been hiding? Anyway, so all good stuff. Good stuff. North Melbourne looking pretty good, aren't they? Tell you what, that rain, folks, that rain in at the start of the third quarter, it bucketed down cats and dogs. They had to put the lights on and all, even though it's only 2:26 in the afternoon. That's how dark it got, and the rain just pelted down. 3 goals to the Kangaroos put on in that quarter. The Doggies, well, they were unable to add to their tally and still unable to kick a major in this game. Can they kick a major? Well, who knows? We'll certainly find that out not too far away when we resume back for the final quarter. Ash Riddell, though, she's a bit of a star, isn't she? On 17, leading the table, 13 kicks, 4 handballs, 2 marks, 2 tackles. Jasmine Garner, she's having a cracker of a game as well there. She's probably best on ground with 16 disposals, 11 kicks, 5 handballs, 1 mark, tackling well for 4, and of course she's kicked a couple of sausage rolls. You can't get much better than that. That's a performance and a half. All right, so Elizabeth Georgiadis and Jessica Fitzgerald still the best on ground or leading possession getters for the Doggies with 12 apiece. we'll just keep rolling down. See where your players sit in the list. Don't forget, coming up after this game, straight after this, we've got the big match of the day. Of course, that's the big match. Richmond Tigers taking on the mighty Magpies Collingwood team. Who knows who's going to win that? Should be a good game, though. I probably expect a Tigers win in that, but don't... you never know, folks. Come along and help me cheer on the Magpies if they can get up and win. We hope so. We definitely hope so in that one. All right. All right. Goal scorers, multiple. 2 of them, Emma King, Jasmine Garner, both each with 2 for the Kangas. Talia Randall, Nia Martin are the other single goal scorers there for the Kangaroos. They're your goal scorers for the game so far. 6-8-44 though. No goals, 4 behinds for. Tell you what, they want to get a move on. Let's have a look at some of these. Where am I? Let's have a look at some of these team stats. And of course, North Melbourne starting to edge away in disposal count, starting to dominate this game a little bit more. There we go, 46 disposals ahead, 26 in kicks and 20 in the handballs. Inside 50s, they've hit the front again, 25 for 12 scoring shots. Fantastic. Of course, the Doggies only 20 inside 50s for 4 behinds. Yeah, that's not really good. Just way too good is the defence of North Melbourne. Free kicks, plenty are being paid today, 20-13. The Doggies need to tackle a little bit more careful there, get their tackles right. Hit out, so Dogs in front. The clearances are all clear in that department for all. So there's no real advantage, even with that 8 for the hit outs to the Doggies. Not tapping it down to advantage. The Rucks have got to get a little bit better in that way. All right, let's head back down to the ground, and they'll take us into the final quarter.
Quarter. The heavens may have opened up here at Arden Street, but so did the floodgates for North Melbourne. They kicked 3 unanswered goals in the third quarter to turn a 20-point halftime lead into 40 points by the final change. North Melbourne 6-8-44 leading the Western Bulldogs. 4 behinds, Jess Webster, Alicia Eva and Daniel Harford with you in commentary. But let's head downstairs because Megan Waters has the Bulldogs coach Tam High with her.
I sure do, Tan. You're up against it today, battling the elements, a couple of injuries, and the top of the table in the Roos. What is the message to the troops to keep the morale high?
Just don't go away from our structures. I think we fell into a couple of bad habits probably for 2 quarters there. But we are a couple down, but we can't worry about that. We've just got to keep bringing effort and hold our shape.
Absolutely. When you're playing a team like the Kangaroos, it always offers opportunities for lessons and growth. What would be some of the highlights and takeaways from today?
Oh, they're the benchmarks. They've been playing together for a few years now as a group, so that's where we want to get to. So it's encouraging that we're doing some really good things, but we've still got a lot of work to do.
Well, thanks, Tam. Good to see the girls improving every week. Thank you.
Thanks to Megan and Tam downstairs. Yes, if you just joined us at 3/4 time, the Western Bulldogs playing without Dee Berry and Lauren Ahrens for the second half out for illness and a foot injury, respectively. Ball ran away, punching tackle on Mia King.
Farquharson up on a wing for the Dogs, playing on Tess Craven and locating in this contest.
I like that because I like the speed she was bringing in that first quarter. She actually looked dangerous, but she's clearly... I mean, Tess Craven had a big third quarter as well, so we'll pay her some close attention.
And the King up forward. And guess who? Jazzy Garner with a contested grab.
Just read the ball better. Not uncommon to say when you're talking about the way Jazzy Garner plays, but nice deep ball, just offline too, just enough offline to take away a lot of the numbers that the Bulldogs had back in line with the goal, and out's not too big and too strong for Georgia Stathis there as well.
Jazz Garner, 16 disposals, 3 clearances, a couple of goals, just to equal her career best, 3 goals in a game. For one of the competition's biggest superstars, hits the post.
I just want to go back to what we spoke about in terms of games of experience. And we talk about the skill level with ball in hand of North Melbourne, but it really comes to the fore, and it's really obvious with just craft, like bodywork craft. Yeah. We've seen Talia Randall take a couple of contested marks today. Jazz Garner just using her body really well to protect the drop zone. I'll let you call this, Jess. No, I'll keep going. But that's what really stands out for me as well. It's not just skill execution with ball in hand. It's just understanding the flight of the ball, understanding how to use your body to protect that drop zone. And it just makes them so formidable across the park.
Shannon caught with it, and it's a free kick. I think it's 4 games in a row now that North Melbourne have played in wet weather conditions. Would that be frustrating, given that they don't have a lot of opportunity to practice their fast, free-flowing game style in better conditions?
Yeah, I think it would. I think it would. You know,
I mean, they're winning, which is a good thing. But honestly, in such a short AFLW season, you don't get a lot of games to kind of get yourself right for finals, really.
I reckon that'd be okay. That first game against the Lions, where they put on a bit of clinic in good conditions, that might be the tick in the box that Croc needs to know that that phase of the game in those conditions, or that mode of play, works pretty well.
Edmonds, great palm down to Pritchard. Onto the left. His hands Greek. Couldn't find a boot. Was ripped off it. No free kick. Hartwig. Ricochets off her and goes out of play.
Having said that, it's not as much fun when you're playing in rain all the time. It's a winter sport, we understand that. Traditionally, it's nice to play in decent conditions every now and then, and the Kangaroos haven't had that chance many times in the last 5 weeks.
How do you go on wet weather, Alicia? You like it, love it, hate it?
I don't mind it. Yeah, it's you always finish the game with a few more corkies compared to when it's dry.
It's because you're skillful, clean and skillful. That weather's good for you. Free kick off the ball here. Randall has bumped. It might have been Ferris as she ran back, just knocked her over. Umpire saw that. There's the free kick to the doggies now on the back of that.
They've set the ground up to switch the ball, but just reluctant to go there, so they'll just kick to numbers.
Pritchard long down the line. Out the back. Ferguson couldn't take it with her. Has Woodley for company. Picked up by Ferguson.
It's a good observation, Lace, because that's what happened the first couple of weeks when the doggies weren't playing well. They were really narrow and really long and straight, as opposed to trying to break the game open through shorter kicks, own possession, change angles. The last couple of weeks, that's been a change that I've really noticed. They've owned possession a bit, they've changed the ball offline, made defences defend, whereas now, perhaps Tim Hines' comment at three-quarter time was ringing me is a bit too, that they've gone back into some habits, and particularly in that third quarter, just getting it and banging it down the line rather than trying to create play and forward momentum.
That's kicked down the line. Did Will touch it in time? It's going to be insufficient intent anyway, so a free kick to the Western Bulldogs.
See what they do here. I think tomorrow night said maintain shape, so we'll just see how they set the ground up here, because North Melbourne, as we know, I mean, Emma King's down the line. Alice Edmonds is too, but just look at the numbers around this ball here from a North Melbourne perspective.
Goes to that Edmonds and King contest. Spills down to Pritchard. Kicking Ward to a contest. Edmonds. Broken up by O'Loughlin. Tries the fend off on Pritchard. Backwards to Gat. Has to get around Grigg. Gives it to Emma King. Your problem. Now to Riddell. Off to Bresnahan. They're starting to link up North Melbourne. Up to half forward. A bouncing ball. Grant out to meet it. Wall gets her. Spills loose. Randall trying to tap it on. In comes Giorgio Stathis. Ball still alive. Garner looking for Craven. Has Ferris for company. Gorham and O'Loughlin collide. The ball was locked up at the top of the North Melbourne square.
She looks sore, Izzy Grant. I think it was Izzy Grant that Vicky Wall wrapped up in that tackle. She's heading back to fullback now, but just looks a bit sore.
Randall to Bruton. Edmonds diving on top of it. The umpire's having a good look at it, and she's been penalised. Edmonds having a good look at the umpire.
Exasperated.
There's been a few free kicks go against her, particularly in the third, but she's trying. She's cracking in, Edmonds.
Riley Wilcox back on the ground for the doggies after that shoulder stinger for three-quarter time. First time we've seen her this term, but that's a good sign. She's back out there.
Talia Randall, the recipient of the free kick for a second goal this afternoon. She's pushed it right.
Much better spinning pattern from the ball on that one though, as opposed to the helicopter.
Fitzgerald with the kick in. Nice to Kimber.
Midfielder that takes kick-ins. No, she's
Stat padding.
she's a beautiful user of the ball, Fitzgerald.
Kimber's turned it over to Amy Smith. 10 minutes to go here in this final quarter. Great pressure on the mark from Farquharson, playing a club debut for the Dogs today. And King going nowhere. Farquharson at her best in her first couple of years at the Lions, was so lively. She's a former Rising Star nominee. Traded to the Dogs last year. Here she is, getting a handball out. If we can get her up and going, sure. Imagine Farquharson and Elaine Grigg in a couple of years, more experience under their belt in this Dogs lineup. Is very exciting for the fans. Edmonds, excellent contested mark.
I had a front row seat for the Zimmy Clinic. I think it was might have been her first game of footy for the Brisbane Lions. And then COVID time against Carlton, she put on an absolute clinic. I'm like, who is this?
On the Gold Coast, that was.
On the Gold Coast, it was. Good memory.
Pritchard walks it around the corner off the legs of Shannon to Tripodi. Pokes it down the line. Dogs have the numbers.
Oh,
Although it's rode excellently by Vicky Wall, and they're out here. Kick inside forward 50. Randall has space to work with. Butterford will close it down and wrap her up. Well done. Randall, though, good enough to feed out the handball. Ball alive. Martin couldn't take it with her. Dogs under all sorts of pressure at the moment. Chance for Farquharson. Has to try and keep it alive. Decides to soccer it forward. O'Shea will be first to meet it for North. Couldn't take it with her. Farquharson goes in again to Edmonds and she's wrapped up. But well done to Cleo Butterford. Didn't give up on the contest. Fitzgerald. This ball will be tossed back in.
It was a great passage from Vicky Wall, real steam train Wall sort of action as she charged through that contest. The kick just went offline too far. Had it gone back towards her goals, top of the goal square, would have been a little tap in for Talia Randall, but made her work for it, and a terrific chase from Butterford. It's a great piece of defensive effort.
Ball back into play. Riddell. Fitzgerald caught, holding the ball.
Speaking to Erin Lorenzini, the new head of women's at North Melbourne, she's been really impressed with Vicky Wall. Particularly last week when Emma Carney went down, just her leadership, she just stood up. Makes a big difference.
Randall, a massive contest. The knee into the back of Ferris, but it's going to be a North Melbourne free kick.
That's what I like. Check the replay on this one. Randall comes on, it's a little push off from Ferris. And then she got one in the back for her troubles. That is Talia Randall, though. She can do that sort of stuff.
Alice O'Loughlin having a ripping year for North Melbourne. 7 goals.
A few looks today. This has been her best day in front of the big sticks.
22-year-old.
Nice finish, though.
Kick is on its way. It's a bomb. Just touched on the line. 6 goals, 11 the return for the Roos today.
She was called to play on then too, so she kicked it pretty nicely. Alice Edmonds, we spoke about it in the third quarter, you know, who is going to stand up from the Dogs from a leadership perspective, and I think she's been doing that well. Took a really important mark down the line earlier this quarter and right on cue.
That's why you're one of the best in the biz, Alicia. She'd be probably leading the best in Ferris this year, you reckon?
Yeah, she's been critically important for them.
Farquharson hooks the kick around the corner. Shannon in the contest against McKee. Riddell. Birch on her hands and knees to Shannon. Kicks backwards to right. It's time to regather. Gives it back to Shannon.
O'Loughlin in the middle.
Assesses her options. Goes in the O'Loughlin direction, but coming in from the side was Edmonds.
That's a good round, Edmonds.
Carruthers collects on the wing, trying to break free. Back to Edmonds, and now it's just broken up a bit for the Dogs. Eddie to Rennie. Hurry kick. Down the throat of Borum. He just calls for a bit of calm.
She's got a good footy brain, Maggie Gorham. Don't mind her down back.
Dogs still searching for their first goal this afternoon. Down 2 players in the second half. Pritchard takes a lovely mark.
Just the importance of that kick. She didn't go directly down the line to where the big numbers were. She saw Pritchard. Sorry, Jess.
Sarah Wright just takes the grab in the middle of the pack there.
Yeah, she saw Pritchard just out wider and just put the ball to her advantage. So nice ball use cross half back by Maggie Gorham.
Shannon. Lovely kick out wide. The Dogs and the Roos rather can link up again.
That's
Breast
the
to
one that
hand.
gets
Yes. Grant will meet it for the Dogs. Down the line for Butterfin. Bresnahan applying the pressure and knocks it out of play. 5 minutes to go here in the last quarter. North Melbourne, their run home. Sydney, Essendon, Adelaide, Gold Coast. Game in week 9 against Adelaide. It's pretty tantalising at the moment. The Western Bulldogs have finished their season against Essendon, Carlton, St Kilda and Fremantle. North work it forward again. Martin toe pokes it forward. O'Loughlin to Garner. Couldn't take it with her. Riddell feeds out the handball. Good necked. Bresnahan. It's met solidly.
A decent afternoon, Bresnahan too, I reckon. There's that release player, that link player from the half-back. 10 disposals, but not pretty significant impact. We just had the footy today.
Whistle for a hold, going the way of Ash Riddell.
Get another handball receive here, Bresnahan, if she wants. No. But she's, with North Melbourne, with the Bulldogs sending that forward up to stoppage, she's found herself loose a lot of the time, Bresnahan, so she can get creative.
Dogs looking to repel Farquharson over the top. Sees it over. So the run home for the Dogs, taking on Essendon, Carlton, St Kilda, Fremantle half. I mean, do you circle any of those as winnable games for them? Or what's a realistic goal in the run home for the Dogs?
If they win 2 of those, they'd be wrapped. I think there's a win in them, certainly in that run home, I think. Look over Icon. Well, Essendon next week is a winnable game, I think. The way that they pressured Carlton, certainly a winnable game. St Kilda have been pretty good this year. Sort of last couple of weeks tailed off a little bit, but they'll keep coming. Fremantle's going to be a huge challenge. The way they're playing, I think they're in the line for a top 4 spot. Lisa Webb's doing a hell of a job.
And Alicia, there's a lot, as Tam Height spoke about 3/4 times, a lot to like for the Dogs out of today. They've done some really good things as they go forward again. Can they get a late goal here? They turned it over to Bresnahan, who's just really grown into this game, but certainly some positives for them to take out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when you talk about winning games of football, every coach, every player will say it starts at the contest. And that second quarter in particular is something that they need to look at really closely and look at what they did really well to keep the league's best midfield, or arguably the league's best midfield, quiet and give them some scoring opportunities. But they've just got to create some more opportunities in front of goal, the Dogs.
Garner to half forward, O'Loughlin looking for support. King. Pressure comes from the Dogs. Riddell at the bottom of the pack. Ash Riddell numbers today, 25 disposals, 5 inside 50s, 5 clearances. Bruton to a dangerous position. Randall against Grant. We've loved watching that battle today. Garner trying to keep it alive. And that's dived on the footy by Gorham.
Yeah, that's a horrible position to be in as a defender. She was surrounded by 3 kangaroos. The ball was on the ground. What do? You can't tap it out. It's a goal against straight away. Might as well make him finish it.
And one of the reasons I think Naomi Ferris was coming off the ground at that stoppage, I think she was cramping up and she just had to come off the ground. So
Neve Martin for a career best 2 goals. Kicks it through for the exclamation mark to North Melbourne.
yes, poor old Maggie Gorham having to wrangle big numbers there and wasn't able to do so. There wasn't much she could do here.
There's 3. Look at 3. There's 4 coming in. You just got to jump on it, make an earner at least. Horrible position to be in. Good luck. Good luck. The Kangas are professional. They just get the job done most weeks. That's why we admire them so greatly, regardless of the conditions. Who's out there? Not that they ever seem to have too many superstars that aren't available these days, which is a nice thing to have as well, getting your stars out there. But they're a professional outfit, they're experienced, they're cohesive. It's impressive to watch.
We should make mention, if you haven't seen her on screen today, it's because she's up in the coaches box. Em Carney is forming part of the North Melbourne coaching panel today. Of course, she's a development coach in the North Melbourne men's program. So useful to have out on the park, but when she's not able to, very useful to have in the coaching box.
Should be possible.
I reckon so.
So the only goal of the final quarter coming the way of Martin. Final minute here at Arden Street. O'Shea. Oh, well done to me, Farquharson. Ran her down and pushing them back against Bella Eddie.
It's a deflating feeling when you know you've got someone and you've worked hard to get them and then you fall in their back.
Yeah, did everything right there. Bruton. To Garner. Is there time for one more here to the Roos?
Afforded the luxury of just sending Jazzy Garner forward this last term. Not worrying about having to get her to grind through the middle.
In the King direction. Craven. Jordan Stafford pushes her over the line. Maybe time for one last scoring opportunity here to North Melbourne. They're by 15 at quarter time, 20 at half time, 40 at three-quarter time. In wet weather conditions, they never slowed down in the second half. The Dogs, 2 down in the second half. Berry and Irons out of the game with illness and a foot injury, respectively. Riddell, was she held? Yes, she'll get the final shot of the game.
Oh, Maggie Gorham again, I think.
There was, but gee, there wasn't much in it.
Yeah.
What a goal.
Ash Riddell, a wonderful game for her. 25 disposals, 5 inside 50s and 5 clearances. Deserves a goal to her name. On the final siren. And North Melbourne get the job done in emphatic style here at Arden Street. They take down the Western Bulldogs by 55 points. Well, these two teams both came into today with winning form. The Dogs have won their last 2. North Melbourne unbeaten with 5 wins and a draw to their name. But it was North Melbourne who started strongly. They kicked the first 2 goals in the first quarter, led by 15 at quarter time, 20 at half time, before the heavens opened up at Arden Street. We saw a massive downpour in the third quarter, but it did not stop North Melbourne. 2 goals to Jazzy Garner in that third quarter and 1-2. And the King set up a 40-point lead at three-quarter time, and 2 late goals to Martin and Riddell capped off an impressive victory for North Melbourne on top of the ladder, undefeated as we head towards the AFLW finals. This is, of course, leg 1 on a Super Saturday of AFLW action on Fox Footy. North Melbourne finished 55-point winners, 8-11, 59 to 4 behinds to the Western Bulldogs, who put up a fight in that first half. They were excellent around the contest, just couldn't get reward on the scoreboard and lost 2 players in the second half to injury. So a big day here at Arden Street. North Melbourne returned to their home ground for the first time since that dramatic draw against Geelong in week 2. Let's head downstairs to Megan Waters.
Eliza, congrats on your debut today. It must feel pretty nice to get the win in front of the fans on the home deck. This will be one you won't forget anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, debut of my second season, right? So I've been out for the first couple of weeks with an injury, but it is a pleasure to be on the field with the girls. Like, obviously, we've got such a good list, so it's honestly just an honour. I love to run around in the blue and white, and yeah, great to get a win with the girls too.
Absolutely. Well, it was certainly tough conditions out there today. I was on the sidelines under the brolly, but it must be, is it a bit of fun playing in the rain like that?
Oh yeah, it's pretty funky, isn't it? It's like weather from up north, you know. It was sunny and a balmy 20 degrees this morning, and then just absolutely poured down rain, heavy as, feels like we've been in the pool. But luckily it cleared up anyway, and we got some good passages to play, so yeah, it was nice.
What are you doing to celebrate celebrate with the fam and the friends today?
Yeah, family and friends function after the game with the girls. Just hang out with them. Yeah.
Well, you deserved it. You earned it. Enjoy and go sing that song again with the girls.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Got Jazzy Garner here as well. Jazzy, unreal effort today. Last time I checked, I think you had about 18 touches, a couple of goals. You look like you're just having a whole heap of fun out there.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun, and the rain just somehow keeps following us, so a lot of wet weather footy, but yeah, it's enjoyable. We got the win.
Well, you got a nice little break now. You head to Tassie to take on Sydney next Sunday. What's your recovery and your kind of, how do you gather yourself before a big game like that?
Yeah, I think obviously the last couple of weeks it's been a lot of just playing footy, not much training. So yeah, we'll look forward to the break this week. Hopefully a couple of good solid sessions in, and yeah, up against Sydney next week.
Well, that'll be a good one. The girls are all waiting for you. Get to sing that song one more time. Go and enjoy it. Jazzy is such a superstar.
Thank you.
Thank you to Megan Waters downstairs, Half and Alicia. What do we make of North Melbourne's performance today?
Super strong in the second half in particular. At half time, we had a look at some of the numbers and it was pretty even Stevens. Now, we have to put a little caveat on this. They should have been 5 goals up a quarter time, but they weren't, so we just deal with what's in front of us. They could have been 5 goals up a quarter time and the game could have been blown to smithereens. But the doggies stayed with them in the first half, and at half time, they led clearances, the dogs, they led ground ball gets, they led inside 50s. In the second half, clearances, Kangas +5. Ground ball gets, they were +18. Inside 50s, they were +14. Handball receives, they were +18. Numbers that we didn't see in that first half. So they upped their game, and the Bulldogs sort of were found wanting a little bit against the quality and class of this Kangaroos opposition. And so they really did put their foot down and get it done in the second half, the Kangas.
North Melbourne continue their march towards AFLW finals. 6 wins for them. Let's take you into the song at ground level.
Beneath the blue and white we stand, we shall go bless our native land of Melbourne, of Melbourne. Out we come to play. Just very safe for some way. Lost bodies want to enjoy yourself today. The Melbourne girls are hard to beat when they go out to play. So, join in the chorus and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, the champions will agree. North Melbourne will be great, and it's just you wait and see.
55-point winners over the Western Bulldogs, North Melbourne. 6 wins and a draw in season 2024. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Today, Alicia Ebron. Well, the Roos just proved they can do it in any kind of conditions.
Yeah, they certainly can. And this was early in the game before the rain hit. And just the class of Bruton there. Just their system stacks up in the dry and the wet. We've spoken about the doggies in the second quarter. They really held, I guess, a rampant North Melbourne. They probably should have been a few more goals ahead in half, as you mentioned, if they were a little bit more accurate in that first quarter. But the stat for me that's really telling, ground ball gets +18 in the second half going North Melbourne's way, and that is when the heavens opened and it was wet weather footy and it was really tough at the contest, and North Melbourne just started winning the ball at ground level. Talia Randall was really important. We see her on screen. This is when she kicked one of her goals earlier, but when the conditions did turn, just the importance of her bringing the ball to the front, and right on cue we see she brings the ball to the front, Jazz Garner follows up, wet weather footy, and Jazz Garner just does her thing. She turned the game, she broke it wide open with her 2 goals there in the third quarter. So North Melbourne showing their class, particularly in the wet.
Hard to argue with any of that. And the big bodies, we talked about it all through the game. One of the themes was the experience of the Kangaroos, the physical maturity, let alone their football maturity, but it certainly did pay dividends in that second half. Touched on the doggies and perhaps the fact that they would sort of tail off a little bit up against this experienced, conditioned North Melbourne outfit. That's what we saw in the last half in particular. They had these looks earlier in the game, particularly that second quarter we talked about. After that, it did fall away pretty dramatically when the Kangas did step it up. So learnings for them, and I reckon there's a heap of them. I'll be spending a lot of time on bringing the ball out of defensive mid, how we gain territory forward with possession and owning possession, particularly against a team that likes to sit back and has a pretty set defensive structure. How do you get around that? That's a real learning opportunity for the Dogs on the back of this. But at the end, it's about experience and living it and learning it. What I'm big on. Lee said, get out there and live it and learn. Feel what it is like to play against a real quality team. Understand what they do and why they are good. Review that, and then try and add elements of that to your growth as a player and as a team as well.
So these are the remaining games for week 6, a massive Super Saturday of AFLW. We take you to Richmond and Collingwood next at the Swinburne Centre. West Coast and Port Adelaide is going to be a really interesting battle over there in the West. And tonight, Carlton take on Brisbane Lions. And tomorrow, game of the round for me, half Fremantle Hawthorn.
Without a doubt.
Who wins?
I say Freo because of the West factor, the home ground factor, but it's going to be a beauty. Two teams in hot form.
I'm just going to go against you half and say Hawthorn just to be different, you know.
Alicia, so wonderful to have you in the commentary box tonight. You're a star on and off the field, and we've loved having you here today at Arden Street.
No, thank you very much for having me. I might see you again later in the year.
Absolutely. I'll see you Tuesday night down in Frankston. That's all we have time for here today at Arden Street, North Melbourne, by 55 points, 8-11, 59 to the Western Bulldogs, 4 behind. North Melbourne, last year's grand finalists, continuing their march to the AFLW finals.
All right, folks, there we go. It was big victors, North Melbourne, 8-11, 59 to the Bulldogs. Well, they couldn't snag a goal today, just the 4 behinds, 4 points. North Melbourne winners by 55 points. We had the poll today, who was going to win today's game, and of course, 85% said North Melbourne. Well done, everyone in the live chat. You were spot on, as I said, North Melbourne. On top of the ladder now. They are just a little bit too good for the Dogs, who are sitting around 12th, 13th position on the ladder. But thanks, everyone, for coming in. Coming up in just a few moments, we've got the next big match for you, AFLW action. Of course, that's the mighty Richmond Tigers taking on the mighty Magpies. Stay tuned for that, folks. Come over to the channel as I will go live for that game in just a few moments' time. Right, folks. We'll see you there. Ciao for now.